Let's focus first on China, and you are an acknowledged expert on China and on Asia. Many people have contended, and I think it's right, you could argue that our most important bilateral relationship, U.S. relationship, with any country is that with China. That has emerged over the years as a very important relationship. And the general description of our approach, U.S. approach to our policy towards China has been one that's been called constructive engagement. That can mean a number of things, but and there are those who say that the nature of our relationship with China is such that we should have a much more confrontational approach than we do under this constructive engagement approach. What do you think about that?
I think my answer is yes, meaning there's both a collaborative aspect of this relationship where we do share common interests, but there also are increasingly confrontational elements. And our policy towards China, in my view, has to have some balance between the constructive, collaborative aspect and confrontation. And we see that most dramatically in China's effort to establish control over the South China Sea.
Do you think there's a kind of an inverse relationship then between the growth of the Chinese economy? Let's say they don't hit that 7% growth that they said they're always going to have per year, and their aggressiveness or their active foreign policy abroad, namely in order to misdirect attention towards the economic slowdown that they're likely to have.
Right.
Do you think that as the economy slows, they're going to become much more adventuresome in the region, beyond?
Well, I would say that Xi Jinping's game, which has become very assertively nationalistic, is trying to establish the political basis for saying, we were a once and we will be a future great power in this part of the world, which is, by history, our part of the world. Yeah. And that's why you see the confrontational element, particularly the claims to virtually all of the East and South China Seas. Right. And the economic part of it is really important. As their growth slows, as their unemployment increases, how are you going to deal with that? And there'll probably be a mixed answer. I've already talked about keeping factories churning out goods where there's no domestic market. They try to dump them abroad, and that leads to tensions in other parts of the world. But the Chinese are feeling their way in some degree on this balance of being nationalistic, claiming that they have reestablished the future of the Chinese nation and culture, and yet trying to do it in a way that doesn't lead to confrontation.
One of the issues that the Congress is going to wrestle with, either before or after the elections, maybe in the lame duck sessions, is the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Right.
And at least one of your fellow members of the Board of Advisors, who's publicly suggested that China be invited to join the TPP. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we should make efforts to bring them into a broader collaborative economic relationship. It gives us more influence than have them doing, which they will continue to do, is build their own economic infrastructure. That's what this Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank is all about. So they're going to walk on both legs. And in my view, it ultimately gives us more influence over how they pursue their economic development if they're part of the broader game plan.